Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at Everdell Silverfrost. Now, this is going to be an edge of the map game here, which is going to be like a different geographic location than the base game Everdell, and going to have a slightly different feel to it than the base game Everdell. And this game could play 1 to 4 players, and it does have a pretty in-depth solo mode to the game. This is the collector's edition version of it, so keep that in mind when we go down to the table and take a look at it. And this one is now going to be published by Tabletop Tycoon. And this game here, you're going to have to deal with a lot of snow. So in this game here, you're going to have to deal with winter and deep, deep snow, and covering all the different locations you're going to want to go to, and being able to manage your fire to be able to clear out those locations and keep your own little town there clear of snow. So let's go ahead down the table here. I'm going to give you a super high overview of the game here just to give you an idea how everything works, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to give you my final thought. All right, so this massive game here is Everdell Silverfrost, and if you've ever played an Everdell game, you're going to be at home with this. You're going to at least get into the general core concepts you'll already have in place, and you'll be able to jump into this real quick. And if not, this game is pretty straightforward on how the rules are and easy to teach. So in this game, we're going to set up the board here, and you're going to set up for whatever player count that you have. You're also going to put out this giant mountain here, and this mountain's going to have a beacon tower, one for each of the players, so up to 4 here. And you're also going to have these the larger critters out here that are going to help you throughout the game. You're going to place these things out for each season here. You're going to go through 4 seasons, but 3 of them will be the ones that you're going to transition to. And this one here is going to give you a chimney and another character. This one will give you a chimney and a character, and the last one will give you 2. You're also going to shuffle up this deck, and you're going to place out 2 rows of 4. You're going to shuffle up this little deck here of the snow cards and place them out. You'll place this token up here on the 1 fire side, and you're going to place out lowland cards here, which are going to be these objectives here. And you place more than one more than the number of players. So for a 4-player game, you're going to have 5 of these out. You're going to place out the resources so everyone can reach it. You'll shuffle up these lowland cards here, and you'll give 2 to each player. You're going to pick which major goal here you're going to go for the end of the game. The person who removes the most snow on this one's going to get 5, and everyone else is going to get 1 point per each snow. This one here, you're going to get 0 for each, but the person with the most is going to get 12. So this one's the little nicer side here. Each player is going to get 2 of these lowland cards. First player is going to get 5 cards. Every other player is going to get 1 more. So the second place is going to get 6, third 7, and fourth 8. You're going to get 2 of your little critters here, and one of them is going to have snowshoes on it, which is your leader, and you're going to get a fire token. Now, the one thing that I'm going to mention is that you have really amazing component quality in all the Everdell games, and this one here is no exception. This one here I really particularly like because this has got these metal coins in it, which is really cool for keeping track of your points outside the points that you score at the end of the game. Plus they have some amazing resources here, like your stones, your fire, your acorns, you have logs here, and you have some really cool little moss that you collect in the game here. And this is primarily a worker placement game, and what you're going to be doing is you're going to continue on your path until you end a season, and you're going to end the season after you placed your last worker there on the next turn. And whether you want to or not, even if you have cards to play, after you place your last worker, you have to end your season at the next turn here. And there's 1 of 2 different things you can do. You can place a worker or play a card. Now, In addition to that, every turn you can also remove snow from your tableau. And we'll get into that in a second. But for worker placement, you have two different types of workers. You have your normal worker, and you have your leader with this little snowshoe. Simply speaking, the leader is going to be able to break some rules. So you have these spaces out here on the board here, and some of them are single player spaces, and some are multiplayer spaces. But what the leader gets to do is, if someone's already there that isn't you, you can play in that spot. So if someone went here, you could take your leader and go there and also get the reward. There are some exceptions to that, like at the end of the game, you can't go in the journey spaces and other things, but in general, they're pretty cool. So in a way, worker placement spaces go. In some of the other games, like in Everdell, some of the worker placement spaces are variable, and same with Far Shore. In this one, they're all fixed. This is what you got. So you could get 3 wood here, 2 moss, you get a stone and a card, you get 2 acorns and a card. You can go here and you can discard up some cards, and up to 3, and get up to 3 different types of resources for each card you discard. Now, if you go to the player space here, you have to spend a fire, so that's what that icon means. And the hot springs here, you're going to gain 2 fire and 2 cards. These spaces here, these are going to be where you're able to fulfill your goal cards. At the beginning of the game, you would have got 2 lowland cards. You're going to look through them, and you're going to pick one of them and discard the other. So this one here, I just need to have 3 of this type of symbol in my tableau. And this one here, it has to do with the player on the left. So they're either going to be dealing with you or the player on the left. And I have to have more of these symbols when I go to that location, the guild, than the player on my left. So you're going to pick one, and you're going to put the other one on the bottom of the deck. When you go to the guild location, you can pick to complete a public task, which you're racing to try to do before anyone else, or you can complete a one of your lowland cards. Either way, whether you complete something or not, doesn't really matter. You're going to draw 2 new lowland cards and pick one, and that's going to be an additional goal for you till the end of the game for games of points. So that's the guild spot. The journey spots you actually can't go to until the end of the game. At the end of the game, you're going to be able to go there, and you're going to be able to discard cards for points, basically, and that's what that does. So obviously you want to try to go to the most valuable ones and so on. And again, you can't put your leader there if someone's already there. So the leader rule doesn't work there. All right. So in general, that's the worker placement spaces. There are some additional things, some of the cards in the game here, which if they can become built, have worker placement spaces on them. Let's see if I can find one here like this one. And you can go there and do those things too. So similar to other Everdell games. All right, so the other thing you can do is you can play, oh, I did forget one worker placement space you can go to. You can go to the signal fires. If you go to signal fires, you're going to spend a fire, and then you're going to be able to do the ability of one of these larger critters, and that can help you out in the game. Then that critter gets discarded. You're going to get the equal number of points above the card here. The critter gets discarded, all the other critters move up, and you put a new one out. All right, so the other thing you can do instead of place out a worker on your turn is you can play a card. Now you can always play cards from your hand or from the tableau here. And there's multiple different types of cards, but there's 2 main types of cards. One is going to be a critter, which generally takes acorns to put out, and the other one's going to be a location that normally takes a variety of resources to put out. So you could pay those resources and you put out those cards. There's 2 other types of cards you have to be aware of too. Let's see if I got one out. Some of these are going to have a little asterisk by it. So you can have multiples of cards that are out, except for you can't have multiples of unique critters. So if these little ones are unique critters, yeah, I actually had one in my hand too, sorry. Unique critters, you can only have 1 in your tableau at any time. And you are making a 3x5 grid, so you could have a max of 15 cards out. And in this game particularly, it is difficult to remove cards from your grid there, so make sure when you put them down, that's what you want. So if I wanted to build this smithy here, I would need to pay 1 wood, 2 moss, and a stone, and then I could put that in my tableau. And this gives me a worker placement spot I can go to that says play a card from your hand for 3 fewer resources, which is pretty cool. In addition to that, later on in the game, you're going to get those little smokestacks, and you can place the smokestacks on cards with this symbol here. And what this means is I can spend a fire, place a smokestack, and then I can play any critter card that meets this symbol here. So I need to find a critter card that has the scroll symbol on it, and then I get to play it for free in my tableau, which is really cool. So in the game here, the other thing to keep in mind is there's going to be different types of scoring that you can do in the game. So these ones here, you're going to get scoring points for the value that's here. So if I played the smithy at the end of the game, if it's still there, I would gain 2 points. So that's basic. These purple ones will give you scoring here, and they have the little pinwheel symbol here, and I had a lot of them out right now, and they'll give you scoring at the end of the game. Like this one will give you 2 points for each of the locations with this symbol on it in your city at the end of the game here. We also have these cards here that happen one time when you put them out. This one here, I'm going to gain 3 different resources I could pick from there. We also have, let's see here, these ones here, and these ones here are when playing a critter, you may discard 1 card to decrease your cost by 1. So these are going to be like long-term effect cards that just happen at certain situations. So like I said, on your turn, you're going to get to play a card. And you can only play up to 15 cards in your tableau, so be careful what cards you play. And some of them here, like I said, you could use the chimney here to place out free cards, which is pretty cool. All right, so that's playing cards. Once you have put out all of your workers in the game here, you're going to go ahead and start a new season. It doesn't matter where other people are at. You're going to finish the game at different rates. So when you go to a new season, so let's say we're going to go into, so we have autumn, winter, and spring, and we started in fall. In autumn, you're going to gain 1 fire for every 1 card you have played into your city. So you can gain a good bit of fire to start into the next round. You're going to gain a new worker, you're going to gain a chimney. Activate all green production cards in your city in any order you wish. Now that is one that I did forget to show. You can have this resource here, and when you play it, you're going to activate, you're going to do its thing, and then later on in 2 of the seasons, you're going to be able to fire this off to get it again, which is pretty cool. So those are production ones. You're going to flip over 2 snow cards, adding snow tokens to the spaces shown on each card. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip one at a time here. I'm going to look at these. So this says that I'm going to place snow on this specific location. So now you're going to have to, people have to clear off the snow to be able to go to the location. I'm going to flip over another one here, and it says to put snow on that location, which is going to be right here. So snow can is a problem that you're going to have to deal with the entire game. Now some of them here you can have to do it in your valley. Some of them also will affect you. So they'll say, let's find one here. They'll say something like you have to place 3 or 4 in your area. And you get to pick which cards you get to cover in the game. And those are going to be what things you're going to want to deal with. Because one of the things I didn't mention is if I have snow on any of my locations, they, all intents and purposes, deactivate. So if I'm trying to meet goals, they won't count towards those goals. If I'm comparing to another player and they have snow on theirs, they don't count. So they could technically have more of something than me, but if they have those covered in snow, I could still pass a goal because they got deactivated from the snow. So it's something you really have to worry about. Also, if they're a place that you would go to, the card's deactivated, you can't use it. And finally, for this location here, you're going to place 3 snow tokens on cards in your city. Now, if you don't have any places to place your snow, don't worry about it. You just place up 2. For winter, you're going to gain 1 fire for every 2 cards. You're going to gain a new worker, you're going to gain a chimney. If you're the first player to prepare for winter, which is this next spot right here, you're going to flip over the Winter's Fury, so it's now going to be on the 2 symbol side. So you have to pay 2 fire per snow place instead of 1. Also, if you're the first player to prepare for winter, discard all current face-up big critters, so these will clear out, and you'll get a new row of them. You're going to flip over 3 storm cards instead of 2, adding snow tokens to each of the spaces shown on the card. And if you're playing a 3 or 4, which we are, you're going to only do 2. You're also going to place a snow token on 4 of your cards in your city. And then finally, for spring here, you're going to gain 1 fire for every 2 cards you have played into the city that do not have snow on them. You're going to gain 2 new workers, which is going to be super helpful. Activate all the green production buildings. So this season and this season are going to be the ones you're going to activate the green production buildings. You're going to flip over a snowstorm card, adding a new snow token to space shown on the card, and you're going to put 2 snow tokens on your city. So that's going to be how those work. And just to be clear there, you don't have snow in those cards to go into your tableau. It just happens on each of the seasons. So once you have completed your 4th season here, you will end the game and tally up your points. You will get points for multiple different things. You're going to get points for your cards. You're going to get points for your objectives that you completed. And after everyone's finished, you're going to get points for this global objective here. The person with the most points wins. And there's some tiebreakers. But in a quick nutshell, that's going to be how you're going to play Everdell Silverfrost. Let's go ahead back up the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on the game. All right, so that was Everdell Silverfrost. Again, this was the collector's edition, so some of these components will be different for the non-collector's edition version of the game here. Overall, component quality is amazing for this, and really happy with it, as you can see from the overview that I did with this game here. I really think that this is going to be a great fit in the Everdell line here. So if you're a fan of Everdell, this one has enough unique ideas to it to really be its own game here. So if you're in love with Everdell, you have all the expansions and stuff, this is pretty much just a must-have here. I do like this game better than I liked Everdell Farshore, and I did really like that game too. This one here is probably my favorite, what do they call it, edge of the map games. This one here, I really like the snow coming in and having to mitigate that, especially when it comes in every season on your tableau there and covers up your cards, basically deactivating them, and having that ability as you take your turn, you can either place a meeple, you can play a card, and after you do that, you can remove 1 snow with a fire from your tableau. You're going to be using that. It's going to be something that you're going to mess with the entire game there, and try to keep that under control. And I do also appreciate the last season you only have 2 go on there instead of a whole bunch. So it's just something really cool to think about and deal with in the game. Those large critters up on the mountain there, they are really tempting to get, and the timing for picking which one you do is very important too, because you want to get the best out of it, because you can only fire that off once per season, because you only have one place where you can light the signal fire. So you really want to like maximize that. But you also don't want to push too far, because the one you really want might be taken by another player and use that action. So there's a lot of different things to think about. Also, this game here, you can blow through those lowland objectives pretty quickly. So you're going to be on the watch out for a player who is just like trying to, you know, get all their points through that too. So this one also has a good deal of player interaction, and I really love that big meeple idea there, where you have the leader there that can sort of go in some of these single spots here, so you're not always like necessarily blocked out of places. So I really like that a lot. Overall, this one's very solid. This is going to be one where they have a lot of lessons learned from the previous versions of Everdell, and you can see that in there. I really love that chimney stack idea on there. In Far Shore, it was an anchor, and this one's going to be a chimney. In Far Shore, you didn't have to spend another resource, but this one here's fire. So fire is a big thing in this one. So do you want to use that now? There's a lot of different combos that you can have for using those in the cards. And that's another thing I didn't really highlight, and you can see that a lot in all the other games of Everdell, is that there's a lot of really cool combos and little tiny engines that you can create in Everdell, which makes it really fun. And really gets you into the game there, because you're really hunting for different cards. You're looking for sort of your own like spin on how you want to gain points in the game, which I really appreciate. Overall, this game is definitely staying in my collection. This game is really cool, not just because of the theme and like the really neat snow elements in the game. Overall, this is just a lot of fun. This is more like Everdell Far Shore was like points everywhere. Like you go place, you get points. Everything's points and points and points. And this is more back like to the base game here, where points aren't, there's a lot of points, but they're not like super, you know, flowing in. So you have to make a lot of meaningful strategies. Really like this one, like I said. And if you even getting into Everdell, if you've never played Everdell before, Silverlight or Far Shore or the base game, any of those three are great entry points to the series. In any of those three, you're going to learn the basics of the Everdell system, so you'll be able to jump into any of them. So if you really fall in love with it and you really like it, all these work. And like I said, they have a unique enough idea for it. And one of the last thing I'll mention is the mountain. So like you had the tree in the base game, and you had the lighthouse and Far Shore. They're really cool to give like really cool table presence, but they can get in the way. And like in Far Shore and like in Silverfrost here, you do have a board there that you can replace instead of the really cool mountain thing. So if you want, so that's an option. But yeah, that's it. If you like what we do, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out a lot. Helps us get more content out to you all on that fun stuff. But either way, I hope you all have a great day, and thank you for watching.